I've been filming on Sony cameras for a good 5 or 6 years now, and I've only recently got stuck into the Blackmagic with the Pocket 4K. One thing that I absolutely love about the Blackmagic is the image quality. I can't deny, however, that the Sony is a far easier camera to use, with its comparably incredible battery life and the ability to just pick it up and run and gun and start shooting without having to rig it out. As a result, I found that I far more frequently reach for the Sony when wanting to shoot something rather than the Blackmagic, even though I prefer the way that the Blackmagic footage looks. And so recently I've been doing a ton of testing to try and find a way to make the Sony footage look like the Blackmagic footage. So what I want you to do is take a look at these two sets of footage and then see if you can tell the difference. Right after that, I'll share with you what I consider to be my secret sauce to get the Sony footage looking like Blackmagic. Now, maybe you could tell the difference and maybe you couldn't. Let me know in the comments down below if you guessed it correctly. When trying to recreate the look of the Blackmagic on the Sony, the first thing that I wanted to do was take that digital edge off of the Sony footage. Now you can go in camera and reduce the sharpness, or what I like to do is I like to add a Black Pro Mist 1/8 filter. I'll show it to you right now. It's this one right over here. I'll grab a close-up for you as well. Now what this does is it helps to create this more soft, bloomy looking effect, particularly in the highlights. However, it also helps to take the sharp digital look off of footage, and you'll notice this particularly in the skin tones. When it comes to choice of picture profile, this is quite important as well, and I'll make sure to shoot in S-Log3 as it gives me the most dynamic range out of my Sony camera. I then do the rest of the work in Davinci Resolve, and the bulk of the heavy lifting is done through the Color Space Transform tool, where I interpret the S-Log3 footage as Blackmagic B-RAW, and then I apply my LUTs on top of that. Let me show you how that's done. Here we are in Davinci Resolve. We're in the color tab. I've got a Sony clip and a Blackmagic clip for reference. So the very first thing I'm going to do is add a couple of nodes to the Sony clip. I'm going to come to Effects, Color Space Transform, and I'm going to apply it over there. My input color space on the Sony was S-Log, so I'm going to scroll down to Sony S-Gamut 3. And I'm going to move across to the Sony S-Log3 over here under Input Gamma. Output Color Space, this is where we're converting it to be interpreted as Blackmagic footage. For Output Color Space, I'm going to select Blackmagic Design Wide Gamut Gen 405. And for the output gamma is going to be Blackmagic Design Film Gen 5. So what you should notice now is that when I pop between these two sets of footage, they are very, very similar looking. The next thing I'm going to do is apply a LUT, and I'm going to apply it to both sets of footage. So I'll start first with the Sony. I'm using the very popular Phantom LUTs here, and I'm going to use the Utopia LUT right over there. If I come across to the Blackmagic footage, add some nodes, drop this in, and you should see the footage already is looking very, very similar. However, there are a couple of tweaks that I still like to make from this point on, and I'll show you what those are now. So in the Sony footage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the midtone detail down a little bit, just to take off the little bit of sharpness that the Pro Mist couldn't. I generally do about 25%. I'll show you before and after here. So we go, that's after, before, and after, before, and after. So it's a little bit softer. I'm going to jump back to the Blackmagic footage, and you can see that digital look the Blackmagic doesn't have. We've managed to recreate that with the Sony by just pulling down the mid-tone details. Another thing that I want to do now is take a look at the greens in particular. This is the Blackmagic image. Look at the greens over here versus the Sony's greens are a little bit, I'd say more nuclear. Let's look at these ones down here. Those greens over there in particular. So what I really like to do with the Sony is then just come into my curves. I go to my hue versus hue,
select the greens, and I just drag this up a touch, adding a little bit more yellow into the green. And I'll show you what that does. So let's turn it off. This is before and after. Before, after, very, very subtle. You can see it down here in this patch of grass and the trees over there as well. And you can see that's a closer match to the Blackmagic footage right over there. So immediately everything starts lining up a little bit better. And one last little touch that I like to do as well, and I prefer to put this in before the LUT, is I come across to here, I go to my log wheels. In the midtones, I notice that the Blackmagic has a little bit more green, so I'm going to add just a little bit of green onto the Sony. Switch it off so you can see. So look in this area in particular. So this is before I've done that tweak. This is after. You see it's come in a little bit more green. And if we jump across to the Blackmagic footage over here, you'll see that's a closer match there. So we go, this is the Sony footage after I've done that tweak of the green. So just to show you one more time, I'll take it away. So let's actually bring the two sets of footage up next to one another. I'm going to right click over here. I'm going to split my screen, and I'm going to do it under selected clips. Let's remove this to give us a little bit more viewing room. And let's select the Blackmagic clip. Let's zoom in, and let's pay particular attention in these areas here. So this is before that little bit of green in the mid-tone under the log wheel, and that's after, so you can see that's a bit of a closer match over there. And if we go full screen with these two, I feel like that's a pretty good match. The Sony is probably a bit more in focus than what the Blackmagic was. I don't think I nailed focus there, but overall these images match fairly closely to me, and that's my base, and from here I'll then apply a creative look. However, I feel like I've done a good job here getting the Sony footage to look very similar to the Blackmagic footage.
If you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative in any way, please give it a like, as it really does help. Why not just go ahead and subscribe? I'll catch you guys in the next video.